So it's 1:16 a.m. and I woke up, not sure why. I think I had to pee, but then when I got up, I saw that the ceiling is leaking over there. I think the upstairs neighbor's washer is leaking onto our floor. And then once that happened and I got back in bed, it's like my mind just would not stop. And the more I tried to go to sleep, the more I just kept going to feeling hungry and having a lot of thoughts of food. And for me, that's pretty triggering. When I was really struggling with anorexia in high school, I would lay awake at night and just feel like I was starving and I couldn't sleep. And this was one of those instances where that was happening. But instead of getting in my head about it, I just kind of stepped outside and I asked God to just like guide me, because I don't feel like I can be super objective. And I really just felt that constant pull to like, hey, you need to get up and eat. Your body's really hungry. You went to bed hungry and you're about to start your period. And if you want to be able to sleep well, which is going to be important for performance, it's going to be important for your ability to lose more weight. And if you want to honor your body throughout this process, you're going to need to do this. And even though this seems counterintuitive and outside your comfort zone, you need to honor it and see what happens. I have enough time to cut water weight at the end if I need to, but if I'm not honoring my body along the way, I'm not truly adhering to the goals that I set. So as early or late as it is, and even though I like to have like a good 12 to 15 hour fast, and even though this is going to add probably 500 calories on top of my day tomorrow or yesterday, depending on how you look at it, I know it's what my body needs right now. And honestly, I'm just in the mindset of being excited about seeing what happens with this. Oh my gosh. It is Friday, August 4th, and I am now 8 days out from my competition. Yesterday, I could tell I was getting pretty run down, and so I decided I wouldn't train despite my training schedule, which I talked a little bit about in the last video, and honored my body. I walked, I went to the sauna, and then I actually ended up going to see my mom, who is in town for the weekend and was doing like an acro yoga workshop. So just went there, hung out. It was a really nice day. Really was hoping that that would be a great recharge, that I'd be able to sleep well last night, and that did not happen. I woke up at about 1:30, I think, hungry, super hungry. So that was tough, and I ate, and I definitely am glad that I did, because I was able to go back to sleep, but I only slept a few more hours after that. So I ended up only getting like 6 hours of broken sleep last night, which was tough. And then now this ceiling situation, which I think might be the AC, is definitely worsening, because that was about an hour's worth of water there, and it's leaking pretty consistently now. So just kind of a weird day, like kind of coming into it with a low battery. And that's a bummer, because I was really hoping yesterday would be the recharge that I needed, but I just have to honor it. What I always tell my client is you got to face the day with the resources that you have available today. And based on my Garmin, based on my subjective feeling, my body battery is pretty low from the start of the day. So I just have to honor that. Another thing is my mental temptation, based on my patterns and my experience with cutting in the past, would be to reduce food today. But again, I'm about to start my period. I need to make sure I'm getting in enough nutrients to foster hormone production so I can start that, because I'll be in a much better place health-wise and even body composition-wise, performance-wise, if I can continue to encourage my natural menstrual cycle as opposed to suppressing it through intense dieting. So I'm gonna just follow my plan today, get food in, still be gentle with myself, rest a lot, and get through the day, and trust that I'm gonna get a lot of rest this weekend and be able to conquer next week leading up to the competition with intensity and effectiveness and embrace the deload leading into it. So part of my goal today, besides resting and honoring my body, and to be honest, I am going to go train because I did take off yesterday. I'm going to keep it pretty light. I'm going to invest in self-care. And for me, self-care is doing what I love to do, just kind of filling my cup, so to speak. And for me, I love cooking. So today I have cooked a bunch of sweet potatoes, which is our main carb source. But I also have been like craving today, and I don't know if this is due to lack of sleep, which can contribute to cravings for simple carbs. I've been craving potatoes, just like white potatoes. And white potatoes, when you put them in the fridge and cool them, create some resistant starch, which is really good for gut health. So I think it would be a great option. It would reduce some of the digestive load of like the veggie intake that I've been taking in, which will help drop a little bit of weight at the end of this cut as well. So right now I have a couple of potatoes boiling, and boiled potatoes is a great way to increase the volume of them as they absorb more water compared to baking them, in which case it pulls the water out of the potato. So calorically it tends to be a little bit more calorically the same amount of weight of potatoes baked will be more calories than the same amount of potatoes boiled, because the boiled will contain more water per gram, if that makes sense. So I hope I explained that well. But it's weird. I know it's not fall yet, and here in Arizona, I'm not sure it will ever feel like fall, as it's just continuously 100 degrees plus every single day, and there's no trees. But I have been craving like fall foods, so squash, potatoes, and I made spaghetti squash the other day, and today I got a couple of acorn squashes. So I'm gonna make these, and this will be a good alternative for this next week to use instead of sweet potatoes, as squash is a little bit lower calorie. So just finding good replacements where I'm still getting the vitamins and micronutrients, but reducing the caloric intake slowly. It's a great way to incorporate nutrient density and diversity, but also work towards those goals of caloric reduction that'll contribute to the ultimate goal of cutting weight. Let's go. now 7:40 almost, and I'm going to have my last meal for the day. So in the spirit of having the best of plans and learning to compromise with what I feel like my body is needing, I really have been craving this combination: applesauce with cottage cheese and Greek yogurt, PB2, cinnamon, and then I was going to pan fry or roast this apple. So this is again kind of challenging what I mentally think I should be doing, not doing a lot of carbs at night, but that tends to be what I'm craving right now. So I'm finding it hard to digest protein and fat later in the day at this point in my diet. And I can just tell that my body is wanting faster carbs, like my digestion is slowing down. So I've been craving this, and I don't really digest apples super well. So I thought getting some applesauce and then cooking the apples would be helpful, but I can tell my body is craving this. So just again, I think it's a cool opportunity to practice challenging my beliefs around when I should eat what macronutrients, and instead let my body guide it, and then kind of understand why. Like, I feel a lot better after I had that meal. And then I can get curious and say, okay, why? Why did that feel good? Why was that something my body was craving? But not asking why beforehand, or else you start questioning why you should be, or if you should be having it. So I think it's a really cool part of a process of being like a scientist about my own body and what works best for it, which is a learning process, and means that there's going to be times when I make a decision emotionally and maybe not in the best interest of my body, but I just have to learn what that felt like versus an urge, an internal urge or like gut feeling that I actually do need something. So I'm going to make this now, and I'll show you what it turns out to be.